Parler was like the island of like the misfit children. Everybody who got kicked off of Twitter, found a home there. And it was pretty gnarly. I've been on it since it started, and they were doing very little policing, and people were saying some pretty crazy incendiary stuff on there, including somebody who was pretty high profile saying they should take VP Pence and have him face the firing squad for treason. And this kind of inciting of violence, as we saw on January 6th, is no longer a theoretical somebody screaming fire in a crowded theater. I mean, people are dying because of this dog whistling. And my belief is that, some group of law enforcement folks went to Amazon, Google, Apple. I don't have definitive proof of this, but that's been the chatter here in Silicon Valley, and just said, hey, listen, here's the receipts. Do you want to have another January 6th? And do you want to know if you could have avoided it? And the other thing that's occurring is the employees at these companies simply do not want to go to work knowing that they're supporting Trump's unique brand of chaos. And so, Trump did, he gave them an off-ramp. In the final 2 weeks of his presidency, he gave not only the GOP an off-ramp to disconnect from him, he gave Twitter and very easy, YouTube a very easy exit ramp to disengage from him. And cynically, the big social was very much in favor of Trump and the ratings he brought, not unlike some people cynically feel about the media business, giving him a lot of airtime for ratings. And, cynically, 2 weeks before Trump's gone, that would certainly appease the blue wave that's about to hit our shores on Wednesday.
Right. So, but where does it end, Jason? And are you worried about, as we've moved from, Twitter suspensions to actual cloud service, that this will bleed into areas that do not reflect a true danger but are more politically motivated?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. What I've encouraged my friends to do is not take the black swan event of Trump and make policy based on Donald Trump's unique brand of chaos that he creates in the world. It's like basing things on the Joker's behavior in a Batman movie. Like, he did crazy things that really stress test not only our democracy, but it also stress test everything he touched. And, if it was me and it was Twitter, I would have given him a 100-day suspension, and then, just to not give, the right wing, or the alt-right too much ammunition. But these are private services, and they have the right to serve who they want. And all of this is going to do is create a whole nother class of startups for us to invest in and for us to back, and the free market will do its work. So there'll be an AWS competitor that says, hey, we're going to put our foot down and we're going to allow freedom of speech on a level that might make some people uncomfortable. And so it'll just be a business opportunity for some other companies to service these folks. And I do think it's kind of a one-time event. And I do think that it was driven by public safety. I don't think this was a coordinated, we hate Trump attack, because all these, Tim Cook was more than happy to go to meetings with Ivanka and Trump for the last 4 years. I mean, he was, at the right hand of Trump in every photo op. So it's obvious that this was more about public safety than, the employees of all these Silicon Valley companies hating Trump.
Jason, a couple of follow-ups to what you just said there. One is, it sounds like you think there will be a further fragmentation of social media, not just fragmentation of what people are seeing and what they're interacting with on platforms like Facebook and Twitter, but a full fragmentation with people with different political beliefs just communicating on different platforms. Is that right?
No, I think this is like a one-time stress test on the system, and that we're going to go back to very boring politicians. I think people voted for boring this time with Biden. Who knows, in 2024, we might vote for a very boring Republican. And I think we'll all get along a lot better. And I really do think this is like our system of stress test by a bad actor, an insincere person, Trump, who just stress tested it. And I don't think that there's a need for a Parler. I think a lot of these folks will, from the alt-right, were driven from the right to the alt-right, just like some people on the left were driven into hysteria over Trump and got Trump derangement syndrome. So I think the good news for our country is it's going to be hopefully a very boring 80 years out of Washington, and we don't have this kind of chaos. The real challenge was you had somebody sitting in the president's seat acting, really erratically. And that is a very hard thing. Somebody's got the most important seat in the world, in the free world, and they're behaving in a very irrational manner. And you saw it in the people who stormed the Capitol. They said, the president told me to do it. Who could ever come up with a litmus test like this? It's crazy.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.